According to these writings, the material world was not created by the supreme God, but by a lesser intelligence, the demiurge. This false god, arrogant and limited, believing himself to be unique and all-powerful, would have created a spiritual prison where human consciousness remains trapped. At his service would be the archons, invisible entities that manipulate the human mind, feed on fear, suffering, and ignorance, and keep humanity away from the knowledge that could liberate it. Gnosis, the internal recognition of the divine spark. From this perspective, many of the ancient deities that demanded sacrifices, fear, and obedience might be nothing more than manifestations of the demiurge or his archons. And if this is so, the Gnostic texts would not only be revealing the true nature of these entities, but also a possible way out, reconnecting with the divine spark that resides deep within every human being. What if the key to our freedom is not outside, but within ourselves? We will explore this further later on. Non-human entities. Salvador Freixedo openly spoke of the invisible owners of the earth, non-human beings who, according to him, have been behind the rise of many religions, empires, and power structures. At the center of his investigations was a provocative reinterpretation of the God of the Old Testament. For Freixedo, Yahweh was not a supreme and transcendent being, but a powerful entity with its own interests, who chose a specific people, the Hebrews, to carry out his plans. He presented himself as an almighty deity with the aim of manipulating and subjugating them through fear, obedience, and sacrifice. This being, according to Freixedo, did not act like a loving God, but rather like a true cosmic farmer, an intelligence that uses humans for specific purposes. Yahweh's demands in biblical accounts were not signs of compassion, but of control. He ordered exterminations, massacres, and atrocious punishments for any disobedience. Moses received direct instructions to execute leaders of his people for having worshipped other gods, and later was ordered to annihilate the Midianites, including women and children. These are just a few examples of the many atrocities the Bible attributes to him. What most caught Freixedo's attention were the detailed instructions given by Yahweh for sacrificial rituals, which part of the animal should be burned, how the ritual should be performed, what should be offered. All of this, he thought, was not symbolic, but functional. It generated a specific energy, the suffering and fear of the animal, the surrender and obedience of the devotee, that this entity used for some specific purpose, perhaps as a form of nourishment. But Yahweh would not be an isolated case. Other ancient cultures described in the Bible also worshipped deities that demanded blood sacrifices. The same occurred in Mesoamerica, where the Aztecs offered beating hearts to their gods to feed them and maintain cosmic order. Why this global coincidence? What did these entities gain from pain, blood, and fire? Were they not merely rituals, but a form of food? Freixedo speculated that perhaps these forces needed that dense, low-vibration energy to manifest in our dimension. From this perspective, Yahweh would not be the one true God, but just one among several powerful entities that, throughout history, have manipulated humanity to serve their own interests. Many maintain that the Bible must be interpreted symbolically or metaphorically. However, for Salvador Freixedo, it was not a spiritual or moral book, but a historical chronicle, a testimony of encounters between humans and non-human intelligences that posed as gods. What if the biblical accounts were not the first? What if their origin lies in something much older, inherited from civilizations that already spoke of gods, coming from the sky thousands of years before. The gods who came from the sky.